Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Lark. And for this week's story, I want to tell you a nonfiction story, the story of what happened to MGV beginning on March 24th and what's still going on in our building today. So let's get started. At 1:15 a.m. in the morning on March 24th, I was called by the fire department to come to MGV to open the door to let the firemen in. A silent alarm went off. A silent alarm is the kind of alarm that immediately notifies the fire department. It's not like loud sirens and noises. It's like an automatic email directly to the fire department that something's wrong, come and help. So they responded, and we went in the building, and they found that there was a fire in our basement. A basement is a room under a house, or in our case, under our school, and our basement is made entirely of cement. Some of you may have basements at home, and some of you might have finished basements with things like TVs and couches and things downstairs like that. Our basement is not finished. The only thing in our basement at MGV are our burners that keep the building warm. Our basement door is by the entrance to our auditorium where our walkers go out every afternoon or come in every morning. So when the firemen knew that we had a fire in the basement, they brought a hose in through our door down to the basement and put out the fire very quickly. When the fire was out, it created a lot of smoke. If you've ever been at a campfire, or maybe if a family member has a fire pit in their backyard, when they put it out, and they put the flames out, it creates an awful lot of smoke. And that's what happened at MGV. There was lots of smoke coming out of our basement door, which is in the back of the school. Also out the front door, where I described before, where the walkers come and go. So we had smoke coming out the front door and the back door of the basement. The smoke was also moving down our hallways, so the firemen worked quickly to open all our hallway doors and also make sure our chimney was venting the smoke, which means getting the smoke out. The doors to each of our classrooms are considered smoke doors, or the official term is smoke-rated doors. And because all of our doors are closed at night, no smoke from the hallways were able to get into the classroom through our classroom doors. So our smoke doors did a great job. Each of our classrooms have what's called a univent. The univent's job is to pull fresh air in from outside and bring it into our classrooms, and then also pull the old air from our classrooms out to the outside, and they keep the air circulating, so we always have fresh air in our classrooms. When the smoke of the fire was outside some of our classrooms, such as Mrs. Keene's classroom, which is right above the back door to the basement, the univent pulled in the smoke into the classroom instead of pulling in the fresh air because the smoke was there. And that did happen to some of our other classrooms as well. Mrs. Johnson's classroom, Mrs. Shadow's office. Those are the three main rooms because they were right by the back door of the basement where the smoke was coming out. Besides the back door of the basement that I mentioned, where the smoke went up and impacted room 210, we also had the main doors open, the front doors open, and the doors by the flagpoles opened. So smoke did come out those doorways as well. When it did go out those doorways, it was brought into the auditorium through their univents, also into the main office, as well as a small amount of smell into Mrs. Hovanek's room and Mrs. Laspinuzza's room. Also, we were able to notice a very little bit in Mrs. Kostulis's room as well. So the smoke did travel a lot. Fortunately, we do have a brand new univent ventilation system in our library, and it did not pull in the smoke. So our library, with its brand new doors, which are both fireproof and smoke-proof, as well as the brand new ventilation system, did not get any smoke in our library. So all of those things, all our brand new materials in the library are safe and were saved. We were very lucky with that and very thankful. Now, our basement was messy because of the fire and the hose water from the fire department, but the real mess for MGV was caused by the smoke. By the same morning, March 24th, MGV was being cleaned. The ceiling tiles were removed, and air scrubbers or cleaners were throughout the building, cleaning the air, pulling in the air and freshening it and pushing out the air outside. Some rooms, like the main office, had things covered when the work began. Other rooms, like Mrs. Shadow's office, had a special covering so that the air could be pulled directly out of her office, out her window. The hallways upstairs and downstairs were scrubbed and cleared of all materials. You'll notice the bulletin boards have nothing on them anymore. This is the upstairs hallway today. The big red air cleaners are still going and will be going all the way through Easter. All of our ceilings throughout MGV were tested for what they call soot, which would be residue from smoke. Also, all the univents in all the rooms throughout the building were taken apart and cleaned from the inside out to make sure they missed nothing. If there was an air conditioner in a classroom, it was cleaned as well. In addition, all the fresh air ducts that are throughout the building were cleaned. So anything that brings fresh air into the building, they were cleaned by hand thoroughly. We also have a boiler located outside MGV temporarily to keep us warm until our new boilers arrive. Our cafeteria ceilings were replaced. Our auditorium was thoroughly cleaned. All of our drapes and curtains were cleaned and also re-fireproofed. These are boxes of tile that are being replaced throughout the building, ceiling tile. This is one of our ceiling tiles being replaced. This is room 210's brand new ceiling tiles. The main office also had smoke come in through the univents from the front of the building, so it needs to be cleaned as well. This is the hallway by the gym that has brand new ceiling tiles and the walls cleaned. Our staff will be returning early to MGV so they can make sure that everything is ready in our school for our students to return on Thursday, April 8th. The teachers who have classrooms affected by smoke, which came in through the univents, will have substitutes for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to cover their classes while they reorganize and help me order what needs to be replaced for our students. The classes affected again are Mrs. Keene, Mrs. Hovanek, Mrs. Laspinuzzo, and Mrs. Costules. Also, before we return, our entire building will receive what's called an air quality test, which means all the air in the building will be tested to make sure it is safe for us to return. And finally, all student materials in these impacted rooms will be replaced. Things that were laminated in the building, such as our numbers on our stairs, were able to be wiped down. And we're counting on everybody at MGV to get our building up and ready for our students' return. And finally, the entire building will be sprayed with disinfectant once all of the workers leave, so that we can assure the building is cleaned to our standards as well for COVID protocol. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I hope this little story about what's been happening at MGV answers some questions you might have, or things maybe now you're wondering about that you didn't think of before. Wishing everyone a wonderful week, and I hope to see you very soon.